My beloved child, listen to me not with the ears of the flesh, but with the deepest place of your soul. Do not scroll past this moment. What is taking place right now is not a random coincidence. It is a divine interception. I am speaking directly to the heavy burden you carry inside. You are so tired of feeling completely alone. You assume that heaven has fallen silent. You look around and see closed doors, and you notice empty spaces where people used to stand. The isolation feels like a heavy blanket over your life. But hear me deeply today. What you call painful isolation is actually my divine quarantine. Listen closely, because I am about to unveil what is built in the dark. You have been crying out for a breakthrough. You have asked me why the wait is so long. And every morning when you wake up, the heaviness is already sitting on your chest before you even open your eyes. You push through the day. You smile for everyone else. You give your energy to people who do not return it. You are running on empty. You feel like a forgotten seed in the dirt. I see every tear you have hidden in the darkness. I know every single moment you held yourself together so you would not break. You thought your silent sighs disappeared into the empty air, but I caught every single one of them in my hands. You have been mourning the sudden closing of doors. You call it a painful rejection. I call it a profound rescue. The silence in your life right now is intentional. It is not a punishment for something you did wrong. You have searched your heart for mistakes, and you have wondered if you somehow missed your ultimate destiny. Let me remove that heavy guilt from your shoulders right now. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. The wilderness is not a place of death. It is a place of intense preparation. Think about the people who have quietly walked out of your life recently, and look at the relationships that suddenly turned cold. The opportunities slipped through your fingers at the last second. It hurts because your heart is pure. You love deeply, and you trust freely. But I had to remove those things from your path. I had to clear the room. A massive blessing is coming toward you, and a massive blessing carries a massive weight. If I gave it to you while you were still connected to those toxic cycles, it would completely crush your spirit. The people you were trying to hold on to could not survive the altitude of your next season. They would drain the oil I am pouring out for you. So I brought you into the quiet. I stripped away the noise of the world. I silenced the voices of confusion around you. It feels incredibly lonely right now because your flesh craves constant distraction, but your spirit desperately needs this stillness to survive. You are not being buried, you are being planted. A seed planted in the dark does not know what is happening above the soil. It only feels the crushing weight of the earth, and it only experiences the cold isolation of the lonely ground. But that very soil is providing the nutrients it needs to break open. If I pulled you out of the dirt too early, your roots would be shallow. And shallow roots cannot sustain the heavy fruits of the massive blessing I have prepared for your family. I know the waiting has exhausted you. I know you look at others moving forward while you feel stuck. The enemy constantly whispers that you have been left behind, and he tries to convince you that your best days are already gone. Do not listen to the father of lies. His loudest attacks always come right before your greatest victory. The storm is just a distraction. I am asking you to trust this season of hiddenness. The isolation is a sacred boundary I have drawn around your soul. It is a protective wall, keeping the enemy away from your fragile new growth. When a king is about to be crowned, he is taken away from the busy crowds. He is brought into a private chamber to be anointed in secret. That is what is happening to you. You are in the anointing room. The door is locked from the inside. Nobody can disturb the sacred work I am doing in your mind. I am healing deep wounds you did not even know you had, and I am rewiring your anxious thoughts to align with the kingdom. I am breaking the chains of anxiety that your ancestors passed down to you. This kind of surgery requires absolute stillness. This is why the phone calls have stopped. This is why the invitations no longer come. Do not view this empty space as a permanent curse, but view it as a blank canvas where I am painting your beautiful new reality. You have been a silent endurer for far too long. You have carried the burdens of everyone around you without complaining. You were the strong one for the whole family. But who is strong for you? Who checks on the person who always checks on everyone else? I do. I am the one standing guard over your weary heart right now. I have separated you so you can finally rest. You do not have to perform for me, and you certainly do not have to pretend that you are perfectly fine. You can let the mask fall right here in this safe space. You have watched them walk away one by one. The people you thought would stay forever are suddenly gone. The silence they left behind is deafening, and it hurts so deeply because you gave them the purest parts of your heart without asking for anything in return. You stood by them during their darkest seasons. You held their hands through the fire. Now that you are in the wilderness, their seats are empty. You wonder if you did something to push them away. You analyze every conversation in your head, and you constantly search for the exact moment they decided you were no longer a valuable part of their busy lives. Stop this endless mental torture right now. Their departure is not your fault. I have seen the nights you cried yourself to sleep. You buried your face in the pillow so nobody could hear your breaking heart. You felt completely abandoned by the world. You gave so much love, but received nothing but cold indifference when you needed it the most. The unfairness of it all makes your chest physically ache. I feel your pain. You are an empathetic overgiver. You always put the needs of others before your own well-being. You pour from an empty cup just to make sure they do not feel the pain you are feeling. But who pours back into you? Who holds your hand when the anxiety becomes too heavy to bear? Nobody stepped up. You were left to fight the battles completely alone. It is not just the people who have disappeared. The doors of opportunity you prayed for have also slammed shut in your face. You worked so hard for that specific breakthrough. You did everything right and followed all the hidden rules. And yet the prize was handed to someone else who did not even put in half the effort you did. It feels terribly unfair. In those quiet moments of defeat, you felt a flash of anger toward heaven. You whispered into the dark, asking why I let them win. You wondered why the wicked seem to prosper while you are stuck in this painful cycle of rejection. I am not angry at your honest questions. I welcome your raw emotions because I want your authentic heart. You thought you were a failure because those doors closed. You assumed that my silence meant my absolute disapproval, but you are looking at the complex situation through the limited eyes of the flesh and missing the bigger picture. I need you to elevate your spiritual vision today. The people who walked away did not reject you. I actually removed them. They could not handle the weight of your calling. If they had stayed, they would have anchored you to a version of yourself that no longer exists. They loved the broken version of you because it made them feel superior, but they could not celebrate the healed and powerful version of you that I am building right now. They simply had to go. You miss the familiar comfort of their daily presence, but you are grieving the loss of a heavy cage. You do not realize how toxic those environments were because your beautiful heart always tries to see the good in everyone. You ignored the red flags. You excused their manipulative behavior because you were so afraid of being left all alone. I stepped in as your ultimate defender. I allowed the uncomfortable separation to happen. I forced the isolation because it was the only way to break your unhealthy attachments. You were slowly bleeding out emotionally and spiritually. And I love you way too much to let you die on an emotional battlefield that you were never supposed to fight on. You are a silent endurer. You have carried secrets that would completely destroy a normal person. You have protected the reputations of people who actively tried to ruin yours. And you chose to remain quiet and walk away peacefully, even when you had every right to expose their bitter lies to the world. I saw your incredible self-control. I honor you. But right now you are just so tired. The transition between the old season and the new season is deeply exhausting. It feels like walking through thick mud with heavy iron weights tied to your ankles. Every single step requires a massive amount of faith. You look around the empty room and the terrifying silence echoes back at you. It is overwhelming. Let the tears fall right here. You do not need to hold them back anymore. Weep for the lost years and the broken promises. Cry for the versions of yourself that you had to leave behind just to survive the blazing fire. It is absolutely okay to grieve the empty spaces today. Grieving is not a lack of faith. It is a necessary release of old pain. I am collecting every single tear you shed. I am turning them into a river of living water that will deeply nourish your dry places. You are totally safe in this quiet room with me. The people who left were never meant to enter your beautiful promised land. They were only temporary passengers. Now it is just you and me. The real work is about to begin. You feel like you are being punished. You look at the walls of your empty room and wonder what crime you committed to deserve this. The silence feels like a heavy sentence handed down by an angry judge. But you are completely misunderstanding my heart. I do not punish my beloved children with isolation. I protect them with it. I need you to completely change how you view this season. This is not a painful rejection from the world. This is a divine quarantine designed by heaven. When a physical body is exposed to a deadly virus, the patient is immediately isolated. They are placed in a sterile room to heal safely. No worldly visitors are allowed inside. The careful doctors do not isolate the patient because they hate them. They isolate the sick patient because they desperately want them to survive. Your spirit was heavily exposed to a toxic virus. You absorbed the bad energy of the people around you. You took on their dark anxieties and their bitter complaints every single day. Your spirit was getting terribly sick. I had to pull you out of that contaminated environment. The people you were trying to save were actually drowning you in their chaos. You thought you were being a loyal friend to them, but you were becoming a dumping ground for their unresolved trauma. I instituted a strict quarantine to save you. Think about the true nature of a quarantine. It feels incredibly restrictive to the person locked inside. You pace the floor constantly, and you stare at the closed door. You just want to go back out and join the familiar crowd. But the crowd is infected with a spiritual disease. They are infected with chronic negativity and toxic fear. If you went back to them right now, you would lose everything I have built inside you. The massive blessing coming your way requires a perfectly clear mind. It requires a heart that is completely free from bitterness and doubt. I cannot pour pure living water into a vessel that is still contaminated by the dirty water of the loud world. You are a refined vessel in the making. The intense heat of this lonely fire is burning away the impurities. It is burning away your deep need for human validation. You used to bend over backwards just to make sure everyone liked you. You compromised your own boundaries because you were terrified of being left all alone in the dark. That version of you was far too fragile to carry kingdom wealth. So I broke the cycle permanently. I removed the audience so you would finally stop performing. When there is nobody left to impress, you are forced to face your true self. The divine quarantine strips away all your comfortable illusions and leaves you with the raw truth. Pause right here in this quiet moment. Listen not with your ears, but with your awakened soul. Do you feel the deep truth of my words resonating in your chest? Let your racing thoughts slow down right now. You do not have to fight this process anymore. You can finally stop resisting the closed doors because I hold the ultimate key. Look at the concept of a greenhouse. It is a closed structure built to protect fragile plants from harsh weather. A seed planted in the dark soil needs strict temperature control to sprout. If I planted your new dream out in the open field, the wild winds would destroy it. The bitter frost of jealous friends would kill the young roots. You are inside my spiritual greenhouse right now. The atmosphere is carefully controlled by my own hands. I dictate exactly who gets to speak into your life today. Right now, the answer is nobody. Nobody is allowed to touch the delicate work I am doing inside your mind. You are completely safe from the destructive opinions of angry people. Do not mistake this divine protection for cruel abandonment. The world will tell you that popularity equals success. They will tell you that a busy calendar means you are important. That is a dangerous lie designed to keep you totally exhausted. True spiritual power is always forged in profound silence. Authority is born in the quiet desert. You have asked me for wisdom and deep discernment. You cannot hear the subtle whisper of my spirit when you are surrounded by a shouting crowd. The isolation is simply the acoustic treatment of your tired soul. I am soundproofing your mind so you can finally hear my instructions with crystal clarity. The deafening noise simply had to stop. Embrace this sacred quarantine with open arms. Stop banging your fists against the locked door of your past. The handle will not turn until your spiritual healing is fully complete. When you finally step out of this room, you will be completely unrecognizable to the people who knew you before. You will carry a heavy and powerful anointing. You will command instant respect in the spiritual realm. The enemies who try to attack you will suddenly freeze in their tracks. They will see the undeniable evidence of my presence resting upon your life. The isolation was never meant to break you. It was meant to make you unbreakable. Rest in this quiet place and let my medicine work. You want the blessing right now. You pray for the massive breakthrough every single night. The waiting feels like an agonizing waste of precious time, and you watch other people get their rewards quickly while you are left sitting in the dust. You wonder why your timeline is so incredibly slow. I hear your frustration, but you must understand a profound spiritual law today. A massive blessing is not a light feather that gracefully floats down from the sky. A true kingdom blessing carries immense and terrifying weight. Influence and wealth and divine authority are incredibly heavy burdens to bear. They will absolutely crush a weak structure. Think about the tallest buildings in the world. Before the builders reach for the clouds, they must dig deep into the filthy dirt. They spend months or even years working down in the dark. Nobody walking by can see the incredible progress they are making. The street level looks completely empty and totally abandoned. But down in the dark, they are pouring massive concrete pillars. They are anchoring steel deep into the solid bedrock. If they rushed this hidden process, the entire building would collapse under its own massive weight. The slightest wind of adversity would tear it down to the ground. Your soul is a spiritual skyscraper. I am pouring a foundation that can sustain generational wealth. I am building a structure inside your mind that can handle absolute authority. If I handed you the keys to the kingdom today, you would instantly collapse. Your current emotional foundation is simply too fragile to carry that much glorious weight. I must dig deeper. You are a seed planted in the dark. When a seed is buried under the heavy soil, it faces a critical choice. It can either rot in the dirt, or it can start pushing deep roots downward. Plants only grow showy green leaves when they are in the bright light. But in the dark, they focus entirely on building their unseen anchor. I have hidden you in the dark, so you will stop growing leaves for the crowd. You do not need to look successful right now. You need to become spiritually unshakable. The deep roots are searching for the hidden rivers of living water. When the violent storms of life finally hit your branches, you will not fall over. I see the incredible pain of the stretching process. Pushing roots through hard rocks is exhausting work. You feel the constant pressure of the soil pressing against your chest, but every single inch you grow downward increases your capacity to hold the coming glory. You are expanding your spiritual container in the dark. Many people beg me for massive blessings while they have shallow roots. And sometimes I allow them to receive early success, just to teach them a hard lesson. They rise incredibly fast, and the world loudly applauds their rapid ascent. But because they have no hidden foundation, they lose everything overnight. The sudden wealth destroys their character and corrupts their pure heart. The new influence brings toxic people who easily manipulate their weak boundaries. I refuse to let that tragedy happen to my beloved child. I love you far too much to give you a blessing that will eventually become your ultimate destruction. Premature promotion is actually a dangerous trap set by the enemy. He wants you to step into the light before your armor is fully secured. He knows that a quick victory will make you arrogant and dangerously careless, but my divine delay is forging a powerful spirit of profound humility deep inside your character. You must learn to govern your own spirit before you can govern a kingdom. You must learn to sit quietly in the empty room before you can sit securely on a throne. The dark soil is teaching you how to trust my unseen hand. It is teaching you that your true worth is not determined by the applause of fickle men. Let the deep roots spread out today. Stop rushing the sacred process of hidden growth. When the appointed time finally arrives, your breakthrough will be sudden and undeniable. You will shoot up out of the dirt with incredible force. And because your foundation is completely solid, nobody will ever be able to tear you down. You are becoming a pillar of light for your entire family line. Do not despise the messy dirt covering you right now. It is the very material I am using to craft your impenetrable armor. Trust the master builder today, because the glorious mansion I am constructing for you is almost ready to be revealed to the world. The foundation is finally settling. The dark concrete is curing perfectly. You are stronger today than you have ever been in your entire life. Let that beautiful truth anchor your anxious heart right now. Breathe in my deep peace and prepare your mind for the heavy weight of the coming glory. You are almost ready. Look back into the ancient records of my word. Consider the life of my servant Joseph today. He was a young man with a massive calling, and he saw incredible visions of a glorious future before he even understood them. He wore a coat of many beautiful colors, but his brothers absolutely despised his bright light. They allowed bitter jealousy to completely consume their dark hearts. They quietly plotted to destroy the massive destiny I had placed upon his young life. They violently stripped away his beautiful coat. They dragged him away from the safety of his home. They threw him down into a deep and empty pit, and the heavy darkness immediately swallowed him whole while his brothers celebrated above. He looked up at the tiny circle of light far above his head. He screamed for mercy, but nobody answered him. The silence of the desert was utterly deafening. Imagine the pure terror gripping his young heart. He felt completely abandoned by the people who were supposed to protect him. His own blood betrayed him for a few pieces of silver, and you know exactly how that burning betrayal feels in your own chest. You have been thrown into a deep pit by people you trusted. You have screamed for help from the bottom of your dark hole. But they just walked away without looking back, and you were left completely alone in the cold silence to face your terrifying shadows. Joseph probably wondered where I was during that terrible night. He assumed heaven had completely forgotten about his glorious dreams. The cold dirt pressed against his shaking body. The situation looked like an absolute tragedy to human eyes, and it seemed like the evil brothers had finally won the brutal battle. But human eyes cannot see the brilliant strategy of heaven. I was preparing his soul for a massive elevation. That dark and terrifying pit was not a dirty grave. It was a divine vehicle of transportation. If his brothers had never violently thrown him into that dark hole, he would never have started his magnificent journey to the land of Egypt. And if he never went to Egypt, he could never become the powerful ruler. He eventually saved the entire known world from brutal starvation. His massive blessing required a massive betrayal. You are a seed planted in the dark, just like Joseph was. You look at the dirt walls surrounding you right now. You call this lonely season a miserable prison. But I call it the exact pathway to your magnificent palace, and the people who threw you away actually pushed you into my perfect will. They thought they were completely destroying your bright future. They had no idea they were simply playing a part in my sovereign plan. Even in the bottom of that horrible pit, Joseph was never truly alone. My presence wrapped around him like a heavy and warm blanket. I preserved his fragile life when his brothers actively plotted to kill him. I am doing the exact same thing for you right now, and you are a guarded fortress even when you feel completely exposed. The enemy cannot touch your sacred soul. Your powerful destiny is completely protected by my mighty hand. Joseph had to lose his beautiful coat before he could wear the robes of a king. The coat was a symbol of his earthly father and his childhood pride. I had to strip away his childish arrogance in the dark. He needed to learn profound humility, and he needed to surrender his ego before I could hand him the keys to the Egyptian empire. Your current isolation is doing that exact same holy work. I am removing your heavy pride so you can carry my pure glory. Down in the dirt, he learned that he could only depend on my voice. He stopped looking for validation from his jealous older brothers. You are learning this incredibly painful lesson today. You are a powerful gatekeeper in intense and silent training. The dark pit is breaking your dangerous addiction to human approval, and you must become completely dependent on my heavenly provision alone. When you finally emerge, you will fear no man. Joseph waited for many long years before his golden dreams finally became a reality. He sat in dark prisons while other people walked completely free. He faithfully served his masters while his own massive destiny seemed paused. The spirit of delay tried to crush his resilient hope every single morning, but he refused to let the darkness steal his prophetic visions. The agonizing delay was actually divine preparation in disguise. If I made Joseph a powerful king at 17, he would have utterly failed. His young character was simply too weak to hold that much heavy authority. He needed the crushing weight of the dark pit to forge his iron will. He needed the lonely silence to learn how to hear my subtle instructions, and I am forging your iron will in the quiet darkness today. You will not fail when your moment arrives. The people who threw you into the deep well will eventually need your help. The ones who walked away and left you for dead will stand amazed at your glorious restoration. As it is written, the stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. You are that chosen stone today, and the isolation is simply polishing your rough edges so you can shine brightly in my kingdom. Do not doubt the magnificent work I am doing. Every single tear Joseph dropped into that dry dirt was recorded in my holy books. Not a single moment of his intense suffering was ever wasted. I used his deepest pain to save an entire generation from terrible famine. Your current pain has a massive and glorious purpose, and your silent endurance will eventually save your entire family from generational curses. You are a cycle breaker called to do impossible things. Do not curse the dark pit that is saving your life right now. The painful descent is absolutely necessary for your ultimate spiritual elevation. Stop crying over the torn coat of your past season. I am weaving a royal garment of absolute authority for your future, and you must rest in the quiet dirt today while I finish my masterpiece. Let my sovereign hand guide you to the grand palace. I need you to open your spiritual eyes and look clearly at your past relationships. You have spent so many lonely nights grieving over the people who suddenly walked away from your life. You remembered only the good moments, and you painted a beautiful picture of a loyalty that never truly existed. But I saw the hidden reality behind their smiling faces. I saw the subtle manipulation, and I heard the quiet whispers they made when you turned your back. The environment you were clinging to was a dangerous emotional trap. You were surrounded by people who did not love your true soul, but they only loved what you could constantly provide for them. They loved your endless generosity, and they relied heavily on your empathetic nature to fix their chaotic lives. You were a free source of emotional support and constant validation for them. But the very moment you became tired and needed a helping hand, they completely vanished. They did not want you to grow or heal because your brokenness made them feel incredibly powerful. Every time you made a small step toward your divine destiny, they subtly planted seeds of deep doubt in your mind. They whispered that you were changing, and they accused you of being selfish just because you finally started setting healthy boundaries. That is not true kingdom love. That is a toxic spirit of control and manipulation. You ignored the loud red flags because your pure heart always chooses to see the potential in everyone. You excused their terrible behavior, and you drained your own spiritual oil trying to keep their flickering lamps burning bright. You were slowly dying in that crowded room. Your creative energy was totally blocked, and your relationship with my spirit was being choked by their constant noise. I had to perform an emergency extraction to save your life. I was the one who engineered the sudden silence. I allowed them to misunderstand you, and I let their bitter jealousy expose their true intentions. I caused the uncomfortable friction that drove them out of your life. It felt like a brutal rejection to your flesh, but it was actually a sovereign rescue operation from my heavenly throne. I slammed those heavy doors shut to protect your massive inheritance. Think about a loving parent who pulls their small child away from a beautiful snake. The child might scream and cry because they only see the pretty colors of the skin, and they do not understand the deadly venom hidden beneath the scales. You are that precious child, and I am your protective father. I saw the hidden traps the enemy was setting up for your next season. I knew that if those people stayed connected to you, they would eventually betray you at a much higher level. They would have sold your sacred secrets to the highest bidder. They would have sabotaged your massive blessing at the exact moment of its release. So I removed them while you were still down in the dark pit where the cost of loss was small. Do not spend another single second begging me to bring back the people I deliberately removed for your own safety. Their assignment in your life is completely finished. If your heart resonates with this truth, let your soul silently agree right now. Feel the heavy chains of past manipulation falling away from your mind. You do not owe them your future. You do not need to explain your absence to people who were committed to misunderstanding your pure heart. Walk away cleanly from the wreckage and let the dead past bury its own dead. You are a powerful gatekeeper of your own emotional sanctuary now. A gatekeeper does not let every wandering stranger enter the holy temple. You must learn to guard the doors of your heart with absolute iron authority. This lonely quarantine is teaching you how to say no without feeling a single ounce of false guilt. It is teaching you to value the holy oil I have placed inside your vessel. The enemy wants you to feel guilty for choosing peace over drama. He whispers that you are cold and ungrateful. Do not let his deceptive lies penetrate your armor. Holy separation is not a sin, it is a necessary requirement for spiritual promotion. Every single man and woman of God in the sacred scriptures had to endure a season of radical separation before they could lead. I am resetting your standards for relationships in this quiet space. The next people I bring into your life will be of true kingdom caliber. They will not drain your energy, but they will actively pour fresh oil into your spirit. They will celebrate your massive victories without a single trace of hidden jealousy. They will carry your burdens with real love because their hearts are aligned with my spirit. But before those divine connections can arrive, you must completely let go of the old ghosts. Stop looking back at Egypt. Stop checking their social media pages to see if they miss you. Turn your eyes forward. The massive blessing ahead of you requires your full and undivided attention. I am doing a completely new thing in your life today, and it is going to be absolutely magnificent. Rest in the absolute certainty of my divine protection. The space I emptied was cleared to make room for a double portion of my glorious presence. You are no longer a helpless victim of their emotional games. You are a guarded fortress, and I am the ultimate commander of your destiny. Be still and know that I am working everything out for your good. Think of David tending sheep in the forgotten fields while others were chosen. He seemed completely invisible to the world. His own father did not even invite him to the most important gathering of their family. He was left out in the dirty pasture to do the heavy work. And perhaps you feel exactly as he did today. You feel unseen and totally passed over with no recognition at all. The great prophet Samuel came to his house to anoint a brand new king. His father proudly presented all his older and taller brothers because they looked like strong warriors ready for battle. They had the appearance of success, and worldly power, but I looked past their impressive physical height. I was searching for a pure heart forged in the quiet darkness. None of them were chosen for the throne. The prophet asked if there was another son. His father almost forgot about the young boy in the fields. That is how deeply isolated David was. He was just a small shepherd, covered in dirt and smelling of sheep. But what David did not know is what happens when the massive anointing finds you in the dark. He was faithfully tending the flock while heaven was writing his glorious destiny. Out there in the lonely wilderness, David fought dangerous battles that nobody ever saw. A fierce lion and a savage bear tried to steal his vulnerable sheep. He did not run away in fear. He fought those wild beasts with his bare hands and killed them. There was no large crowd to applaud his incredible bravery, and there was no worldly reward for his silent endurance. It was just him and me. You are fighting lions and bears in your own quiet fields right now. You battle severe depression and crippling anxiety behind closed doors. You protect your family from generational curses, while nobody even notices your massive sacrifice. The people around you think you are just living a normal life. They do not see the intense spiritual warfare you conquer every single night, because it is deeply hidden. I see your brave heart. David used that terrifying isolation to learn how to worship. He sang beautiful songs to me under the cold night sky. He learned how to trust my voice completely when the surrounding silence was deafening. He was building the unshakable faith of a giant killer. If he had stayed safely inside the comfortable house, he would have never developed his legendary courage. The wilderness was his training ground. Suddenly, a messenger ran out to the lonely field, and David was called to stand before the great prophet. He walked into the busy house covered in dust. He did not look like a royal king to the human eyes staring at him. But the moment he arrived, the holy oil began to flow. The heavy horn of anointing was poured completely over his young head. His season of deep hiddenness was finally over. I am about to send a messenger into your lonely field. The season of being overlooked and constantly passed by is coming to a rapid end. The people who completely ignored your value will soon watch you sit at the kingly table. You are a seed planted in the dark, and your roots are finally deep enough. The horn of fresh oil is already tilted toward your tired head. Your massive blessing is waiting. Pause right here and let this powerful truth settle in your soul. Stop complaining about the lonely pasture. Stop feeling bitter toward the people who forgot to invite you to their celebrations. Their rejection was simply keeping you out of the wrong rooms. I kept you out of their shallow conversations so you could learn the deep language of the kingdom. You were learning how to rule. You are a powerful gatekeeper who has been severely tested in the fire. You did not drop your holy assignment when the lonely nights became unbearable. You kept tending the small flock I trusted you with. Because you were incredibly faithful in the invisible things, I will make you a ruler over massive territories. The quiet dirt you stand on today is the solid foundation of your future throne. David did not ask the prophet for a royal crown. He did not demand an apology from his forgetful father or his arrogant brothers. He knew that vindication comes only from heaven. You must adopt this exact same mindset today. Do not demand an apology from the people who abandoned you in the cold dark. Let me be your ultimate vindicator. My public anointing will silence every single one of your doubters. Do not rush the final moments of this divine quarantine. Let the remaining dirt fall off your clothes naturally. When you finally step out of this profound isolation, you will carry a heavy authority that commands instant respect. The wild beasts you defeated in secret have fully prepared you to conquer the massive giants waiting in public. Rest quietly today. Your anointing is drawing very near. The oil of gladness is about to replace your heavy spirit. Every tear you shed in that forgotten field has watered the soil of your massive breakthrough. You have survived the brutal wilderness, and you have fiercely protected the flock. Now it is time for the shepherd to become the recognized king. Lift up your weary head right now. The lonely shadows are fading, and your glorious morning is breaking. What is taking place behind your name is not as simple as you imagined. You think you are just having a string of bad luck. You feel totally exhausted for no physical reason, and the deep confusion in your mind feels incredibly heavy today. But this is not normal psychological stress. It is a targeted spiritual attack. The unseen enemy does not waste his expensive ammunition on completely empty targets. He only attacks the physical vehicles that are carrying massive kingdom treasure. Your extreme exhaustion is actually a profound confirmation of your high value in the spirit realm. He sees the massive blessing that I am about to release over your life. And he is absolutely terrified of your future. He knows that if you take just one more step forward, you will cross the finish line. He knows your massive breakthrough will completely shatter his dark kingdom. So he is throwing every single distraction at you right now. He uses sudden financial panics and random arguments to steal your vital energy because he desperately wants you completely disoriented. Listen to me with your fullest attention right now. Do not let his cheap illusions trick your tired mind. The thick fog of confusion you feel today is his desperate final tactic. He cannot stop the massive blessing from reaching your open hands, so he is trying to make you drop your hands in bitter defeat while you are standing at the door. He wants you to surrender. You have survived the fiery furnace. You have endured the dark pit. Do not give up when the door is finally starting to unlock. The spirit of delay is whispering lies into your weary ear every single night. He tells you that nothing will ever change, and he insists that heaven has completely forgotten all your desperate prayers. Those are desperate lies. Pause right here and take a deep breath. Let the thick fog of deception completely clear from your anxious mind. You are experiencing the violent turbulence that always happens right before a massive breakthrough. When a heavy airplane is about to break the sound barrier, it shakes violently. The turbulence feels incredibly dangerous to your physical senses, but it is actually the final physical resistance before you enter smooth air. It means the plane is breaking through an invisible wall. Your spirit is breaking the sound barrier of the spiritual realm right now. The extreme pressure you feel is the exact evidence of your incredible speed. You are rapidly moving out of the barren wilderness, and you are stepping directly into your beautiful promised land today. The enemy is violently shaking your circumstances. He wants you to look at the terrifying storm. He wants you to panic and run back to the familiar chains of your past. But you are a powerful cycle breaker. You are not a fearful slave who runs away from a loud noise. I have equipped you with heavy spiritual armor, and I have trained your hands for this exact moment of victory. The sudden urge to quit everything is not your own thought. It is a demonic suggestion planted by the forces of darkness. They want you to abandon the massive harvest that you watered with your own tears, and they want to steal your royal inheritance right at the very edge of the valley. I command you to stand your ground today. The victory is already yours. Do not let heavy procrastination steal your ultimate victory. The enemy disguises his vicious attacks as simple laziness or mental burnout. He makes you feel too tired to pray and too exhausted to hope. He wraps heavy chains of apathy around your beautiful soul while you sleep. But I am sending a fresh wind of violent faith into your dark room right now to wake you up. You must fight back with the living word I have given you. Speak my promises out loud into the empty air. Your voice carries a holy frequency that completely shatters demonic glass in the unseen realm. When you finally open your mouth, the atmosphere in your room instantly changes. You are not a helpless victim, and you are not waiting for the brutal storm to miraculously pass by itself. You are a highly trained gatekeeper holding the keys to the city. Rise up from the dusty floor and wipe the bitter tears from your eyes. The spiritual warfare is incredibly fierce because your coming prize is absolutely massive. The darkness is fighting so hard today because it is rapidly losing the ultimate battle. The glorious finish line is just one single step away, and you must cross it with absolute divine confidence. Let my holy fire burn away your heavy confusion. Let my absolute clarity pierce through the thick demonic fog. You are crossing the final threshold today. The enemy has fired his last desperate arrow, and he has completely missed your soul. Walk forward with the bold confidence of a royal heir, because your ultimate victory is fully secured by my hand. I am standing directly between you and the dark forces trying to pull you backward. They cannot cross the bloodline I have drawn around your precious life. Your massive blessing is heavily guarded by my angelic hosts. Keep your spiritual eyes firmly fixed on the beautiful horizon before you. The dark night is finally ending, and your glorious dawn is breaking through the heavy clouds right now. The spiritual atmosphere in your room is shifting right now. You can feel the heavy pressure finally lifting off your tired chest. The long and agonizing night of waiting is rapidly coming to an end today, and I am turning the lock on the heavy door of your divine quarantine. The massive season of intense isolation has finally accomplished its holy purpose. You are completely unrecognizable in the spiritual realm. The weak and anxious person who entered this dark room no longer exists, because the crushing weight of the dark dirt has successfully transformed your fragile soul into a brilliant diamond. You have survived the intense fire without carrying the bitter smell of the smoke. I am so incredibly proud of you. Now, I need you to prepare your spirit for the massive transition. Take off the heavy garments of survival right now. You do not need to wear the dark clothes of mourning anymore. Shake off the thick dust of the painful wilderness from your tired feet while you step into your new identity. The time for silent weeping in the lonely shadows is completely over. A glorious new day is breaking. You are about to step out of the dark room. The brilliant light of my absolute favor is going to be incredibly bright. Do not close your eyes when the massive blessing finally hits your open hands. You have been trained in the dark to handle this exact level of blinding glory, and you must stand up straight and push your shoulders back like a true royal heir. The people who abandoned you thought you were completely destroyed. They assumed the heavy silence had swallowed your beautiful dreams forever. But they are about to watch you emerge with absolute divine authority when my glory rests upon your life. The enemies who plotted your quiet downfall are currently trembling in fear. They can hear the heavy footsteps of a giant killer walking out of the dark cave. Gather your remaining strength for this final step forward. Do not look back at the empty room you are leaving behind. There is absolutely nothing left for you in the painful places of your past. The old relationships and the broken opportunities are just dead ashes now, and your massive harvest is waiting straight ahead in the bright light. Do not hesitate today. I am injecting a holy urgency into your weary spirit right now. The spirit of delay has been completely permanently broken off your life. The heavy chains of generational poverty are shattering violently on the floor. You are a powerful cycle breaker stepping into your ultimate kingdom assignment. The universe is not random, and this is a carefully orchestrated divine promotion designed specifically for you. You are the chosen gatekeeper of your entire family line. Your silent endurance in the dark pit has legally purchased their future freedom. Every single tear you cried has been transformed into a massive wave of undeniable favor. The massive blessing you are about to receive will overflow into every single area of your life, and it will heal your broken finances completely. It will restore your physical health and completely renew your tired mind. The sheer size of this coming provision will absolutely shock your human logic, but your deep spiritual roots are now strong enough to hold the heavy weight, and you will not collapse when the massive floodgates of heaven suddenly burst open. You are securely anchored to the solid rock. Listen to the sound of my voice calling your name. It is the exact same voice that called Lazarus out of the dark tomb. I am calling your dead dreams back to vibrant life today, and I am calling your hidden talents out of the dusty shadows. Step forward into the bright light without a single ounce of fear. The massive blessing is fully prepared. You are totally safe to succeed now. The toxic people who would have drained your oil are permanently gone. The dangerous traps that the enemy carefully laid for you have been completely destroyed, so the path ahead of you is totally clear and heavily guarded by my mighty angels. You can finally run toward your massive destiny without constantly looking over your shoulder. Open your empty hands right now to receive the heavy keys. You are crossing the invisible threshold between the agonizing weight and the glorious manifestation. Your heart is pounding because your spirit knows the magnificent truth. The divine quarantine is officially over, and the heavy door is standing wide open before you. Take a deep breath of the fresh kingdom air and step outside today. The world is about to see exactly what I was building in the dark. You are a masterpiece of divine grace. Walk out of the shadows and claim your massive inheritance. The spiritual courtroom is preparing to read your final verdict of absolute victory, so prepare your soul for the ultimate vindication. Your beautiful season of massive blessing begins right now. The spiritual courtroom of heaven is officially open over your life today. I am taking my seat as the ultimate judge of your destiny. I am opening the ancient books that have recorded every single tear you cried in the dark. The season of waiting in the silent shadows is completely over. I strike the heavy gavel of my divine authority right now. You are fully vindicated. Every lie that was spoken against your pure name is completely shattered. The people who manipulated your kindness thought they got away with their dark schemes, and they assumed there was no consequence for breaking your heart. But I have seen every hidden trap they set for you. I am exposing their secret malice to the bright light of heaven today. They have completely failed. You do not need to fight them with your own tired hands. You do not need to post clever messages or demand an angry apology from the people who abandoned you. I am fighting this massive battle on your behalf right now. Vengeance belongs entirely to my holy throne, and I am stepping directly into your painful circumstances to demand absolute justice for your wounded soul. Stand still and watch. The unseen forces of darkness that tried to steal your royal inheritance are now commanded to step back. They are completely stripped of their false authority over your finances and your family line. I am issuing a strict holy mandate today. Everything that was unjustly taken from you must be returned immediately in the open, and I demand a double portion of restoration for your silent agony. If they stole your peace, I am giving you supernatural joy that no human can ever touch. If they damaged your reputation, I am giving you a platform of massive influence that they can only watch from afar. You are no longer the victim of their toxic emotional games. You are the undeniable victor. The dark curse of chronic rejection has been permanently broken off your life today. I am removing the heavy cloak of invisibility from your shoulders. The divine quarantine has finished its sacred work in your mind. You are completely pure, and you are heavily armed for the massive blessing. Look directly at the heavy iron door of your lonely prison cell right now. I am turning the final key, and the heavy chains are falling to the dirty floor with a loud crash. You are free. Step out of the dark pit and walk into the brilliant light. The massive wealth of the kingdom is waiting for your command. The relationships of true royal caliber are lining up to meet you at the gate. You survived the intense fire, and you kept your precious faith completely intact. The painful isolation did not destroy your spirit, but it forged an absolute giant killer in the deep silence of the lonely wilderness. Your enemies are utterly terrified of the powerful authority you carry right now. They hear the massive sound of your footsteps leaving the dark cave. They know that a fully awakened gatekeeper is the most dangerous force in the spiritual realm. You hold the heavy keys to doors that no man can ever shut. The long season of begging for crumbs is absolutely finished forever. You will sit at the head of the royal table. The very people who completely ignored your value will watch you eat from the silver plates of my massive provision, but you will not look at them with bitter hatred. You will look at them with the deep peace of a victorious king, because you have finally outgrown their small and toxic world. You are stepping into a massive universe of unlimited divine favor. Do not shrink back when the massive blessing finally hits your hands. You deserve this glorious victory because you paid the heavy price in the dark. You endured the silent tears when nobody else was watching. You held on to my ancient promises when the loud world told you to give up completely, and I am rewarding your extreme faithfulness in front of everyone today. The heavens are completely open. Receive the heavy mantle of the cycle breaker right now. The dark patterns of poverty and lonely depression stop entirely with you today. Your future children will never have to fight the terrible demons you defeated in that dark room. You have legally secured a completely new bloodline of massive abundance. You are the strong foundation of a totally restored family dynasty. The gavel has fallen, and the holy verdict is completely final. No demon in hell and no jealous human on earth can reverse the massive blessing I have decreed over your life today. Walk forward with your head held incredibly high. The beautiful morning has finally arrived. The massive sun is rising over your new territory. Take your rightful place on the glorious throne of your destiny. The heavy mantle of divine authority is resting firmly upon your shoulders right now. You are walking out of the wilderness with the keys to the massive kingdom securely in your hand. I am completely dismantling the traps of your past, and I am paving a wide highway of gold for your beautiful future. Step forward into the glorious reality of your massive blessing. The divine quarantine is officially cancelled. Stand tall right now in the center of the quiet room. I am placing the royal crown of the cycle breaker upon your head today. You are no longer an abandoned victim of terrible circumstances, but you are the absolute master of your new destiny right now. The spiritual chains that bound your ancestors in poverty and depression are permanently shattered because you endured the fierce fire. You are the chosen heir to my magnificent kingdom. The massive blessing is officially unlocked for your entire family line. I am handing you the heavy golden keys today. These ancient doors were firmly sealed for many long generations, but they swing wide open for you right now because you faithfully carried the heavy mantle of the silent endurer. The hidden wealth is transferring into your righteous hands completely. You will build massive generational wealth that the jealous enemy can never steal. You carry a terrifying authority in the unseen spiritual realm now. When you speak out loud, the demons will instantly scatter in absolute panic. Your dark season of begging the world for tiny crumbs is finally over. You will command the violent storm to stop completely, and it will immediately obey the incredible authority flowing from your strong voice today. The toxic people who rejected you will watch you rise. Now let the heavy adrenaline slowly leave your tired physical body. The fierce battle is completely finished, and your ultimate victory is totally secure. Take a very deep breath and release the painful tension from your tight shoulders. You do not have to constantly fight the angry lions in the dark wilderness anymore, because I have completely destroyed their power. You can finally put down your heavy and bloody sword. The beautiful spiritual war is completely over today. I am washing away the dark smoke of the spiritual battlefield. My deep peace is settling over your anxious mind like a warm blanket. You are completely safe inside my protective arms right now, and the terrifying night terrors will not haunt your peaceful sleep tonight. I am giving you the sweet and quiet rest that you have desperately craved for so many lonely years while you were crying. Relax your heavy and anxious heart completely today. You have carried the heavy emotional weight of the entire world. You always tried to fix every broken person who crossed your path. But you are completely off the hook for their healing today. You are not responsible for saving people who actively choose to stay in their own dark chains while rejecting the bright light. Let them go completely from your mind right now. Focus all your beautiful energy on the massive harvest I have prepared. The deep wounds in your weary soul are rapidly closing up. The bitter memories of past rejections are fading away into nothingness. I am replacing your profound sorrow with an overwhelming and supernatural joy that makes absolutely no logical sense to the human mind. You will laugh again with genuine happiness and absolute freedom. The heavy depression that tried to suffocate you is permanently broken today. You are completely and beautifully healed right now. Look closely at the beautiful bright horizon of your new life. The dark clouds have completely vanished from your clear blue sky. You are stepping into a massive season of profound emotional stability. The chaotic drama of your past is finally over, and it is permanently replaced by a quiet and steady rhythm of absolute grace. You will walk in a sacred alignment with my perfect will, and every single day will be full of glorious kingdom light. Do not let sudden fear trick you into doubting this glorious miracle. You are not dreaming about a fake reality right now. This massive blessing is your actual physical and spiritual reality today. You earned this beautiful peace through your silent tears in the dark, and I am extremely proud to call you my incredibly brave child. Everything you lost is coming back to you with massive interest. Trust my holy and unchanging words right now. The spiritual clock is striking the midnight hour in heaven right now. The heavy door to your new season stands completely wide open, but the jealous enemy desperately wants you to hesitate and doubt today. He uses the familiar spirit of procrastination to steal your sudden breakthrough, because he knows that delayed obedience is actually disguised disobedience. He wants you to wait until tomorrow to claim this massive victory. Do not let him win this critical moment. Heaven requires your physical obedience to seal this sacred covenant today. Take a bold step of active faith in the physical realm right now. Break the heavy silence that has kept your powerful voice completely paralyzed for so many long and truly agonizing years. Let your fingers write down a powerful declaration of absolute victory. Leave a sign under this message to seal this truth permanently. Write the exact words "I receive my massive restoration" in the comments. When you type those physical words, you are swinging the heavy sword of the Spirit. You are publicly accepting your royal identity as the ultimate cycle breaker, and the demons will tremble in absolute terror when they read your bold declaration. You are closing the heavy door on the painful past forever. Your brand new life of abundance begins right now. Every single keystroke is a heavy blow against the dark demonic kingdom. The physical action completely breaks the heavy chains of anxiety forever. I am watching your brave response directly from my glorious heavenly throne, and the mighty angels are rejoicing loudly over your massive courage today. Step fully into the bright kingdom light and claim your inheritance. Do not wait another single second to take your royal place. Now, let every heavy burden completely slide off your weary shoulders. Let your racing heart settle like completely still waters after a violent wind has ceased. The long and terrible storm has officially passed over your fragile house. You are entirely safe in the quiet center of my massive love. I am wrapping my holy arms around your trembling soul today. I am wiping away the last remaining tears from your tired face. You no longer have to fight the brutal battles that belong entirely to me. Take a very deep breath right now. Release your tight grip on the unknown events of tomorrow. Step directly into the beautiful and living current of my daily grace. I am going before you to clear the heavy obstacles, and I dwell within you to give you absolute peace. The exhausting season of constant spiritual striving is finally over. Close your weary eyes for just a moment. Feel the incredible warmth of my divine healing light washing over your tired mind. The dark shadows that haunted your past have completely evaporated in my glorious presence. You are a brand new creation bathed in pure heavenly sunlight. The heavy isolation has transformed into a profound and beautiful intimacy with my spirit. You will never feel truly alone again. You are the chosen heir to my magnificent promises. You walked through the blazing fire without letting the bitter flames consume your pure heart. And because you remained incredibly faithful in the terrifying darkness, I am trusting you with the brilliant light of the kingdom. You will carry my heavy glory with profound humility and total grace. The massive blessing is already flowing directly into your open hands. It will slowly wash away every painful memory of your long and lonely quarantine. You will look back at this exact moment and realize that the dark dirt was actually your greatest rescue. I saved your beautiful life by hiding you away from the toxic noise of the world. The people who left were simply unqualified to travel to the glorious destination I prepared for you. Release them from your mind completely. Release them from the heavy prison of your bitter resentment today. When you finally let them go, you instantly free your own soul to fly higher than ever before. The heavy cage is completely open. You will never have to beg for tiny crumbs of human affection again. You will never have to perform exhausting tricks just to earn a tiny drop of worldly validation. The well of living water inside you is full. People will look at your peaceful face and wonder how you survived the brutal fire with such incredible grace. You will simply smile and point them toward my heavenly throne. You are a powerful pillar of light for the next generation. The tiny seeds you planted in the dark are sprouting into a massive and beautiful garden of divine abundance. Your entire family line will eat the sweet fruit of your silent endurance. They will prosper for many long decades because you refuse to quit in the dark. Say these gentle words quietly in your own mind today. Father, I completely surrender my heavy need for human control. I totally trust your divine timing and your perfect protection. I receive the massive blessing you have carefully prepared for my life. Let that simple prayer anchor your floating soul to my solid rock right now. I seal this beautiful promise over your entire life forever. No weapon formed against your fragile mind will ever prosper again. The heavy iron gates of your brand new season are firmly locked behind you to keep the dark enemy out. You are standing safely inside the royal courtyard. Breathe in the incredibly sweet fragrance of your absolute victory today. The long and terrible winter is officially over. Thank you for opening your weary heart and receiving this urgent message today. The spiritual connection we share in this quiet moment is incredibly sacred. Do not let the loud noise of the busy world steal this profound peace when you walk away. You must learn to carefully guard the holy fire burning inside your chest. The enemy hates the deep rest you have finally found in my protective arms. Know this deep truth before you go. You are not merely an audience drifting aimlessly through the internet today. You are completely chosen to live daily in the glorious presence of the living Word. This space is a safe sanctuary where your tired soul can always find deep rest and divine strategy. You belong right here in this beautiful community of brave cycle breakers. You are a vital part of this spiritual family. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell right now. This is not a worldly request for numbers. It is a vital spiritual action to ensure you will never miss the urgent protection of heaven when the enemy tries to attack again. Stay constantly connected to the pure flow of prophetic truth. Go forward in absolute peace and claim your massive inheritance. I love you with an everlasting love. Amen.